introduce Peter Charquero, Peter Kestenholz, from Context and to show us the awesome work that he and the team are doing. So Peter, please join us on stage and give him a warm welcome.
Thanks, Leon.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me on stage.
No, thanks. And thanks for the awesome job that you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit about Context and?
Yeah, Context and is a Microsoft partner and an ISV as well. We've been doing business applications for more than 20 years. We both offer our own IP, of course also Dynamics, and we build any custom application we need to for our customers.
That is wonderful. And you've been building an application for several years that you have been making better, and better. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, one of them is called the Projectum xPM. It used to be called Power PPM, which is basically a project portfolio strategy management tool that we've had for, I think, more than 8 years now. Of course, built on Power Platform, so Dataverse first, and this is where we're just continuing to add new layers on top of the core solution. And in these times, it's basically also a creativity layer, thanks to AI, that hopefully I can show a little bit of as well.
Actually, why don't we go and see it? It's an awesome application, and I would love to inspire everyone with the great product that you built.
Let's try and see. So, here you go. And just wait to see that everyone can see what I'm seeing, which should happen soon.
Let's get to the demo, or to Peter's machine.
Yeah,
perfect, we got it.
Good. Okay, so I have a lot of stuff to share, but limited time, so I'll be very quick. But here's an example on where we log into our, of course, model-driven app. And what I see here is actually a combination of a welcome page, but also a dashboard / report / whatever we want to call it, insights. So when I'm here, I can see myself, I'm logged on, and I can click on this portfolios. It could be projects, it could be tasks, risks, whatever. It could also be more dashboards that are available to all. So, of course, an alternative to Power BI, not a replacement, but something that can be useful in this context. And, of course, interactive. So that's the starting point for where we've done a few tweaks, thanks to AI as well, obviously vibe-coded. Moving from here, of course, we can also change the views, basically. So this is our old idea hub, so where you can track and handle creation of new ideas. And, of course, this can also be completely tweaked in many different ways, depending on what we're into. It could be something like this, where we create a new idea, pops up, drags it in, works immediately, switch by department, type owner, and so on and so forth. But these are just sort of the visual layer. The thing that has changed a little bit is the ability for us to manipulate the data and do scenarios. That's actually what I really want to show. So what you see here is a long list of course, here we changed the view as well, but a list of projects, and sometimes we have customers with more than 1,000 projects and 10,000 projects and beyond. So when they need to know what to say yes or no to, because we don't have the money to run them all, basically, down here in the strategy layer is where I have something called a scenario builder. So this one is actually loading all the projects that I have from Dataverse. I can also load all the different fields I might have. These are 4 that are selected. I could add one more called the 2027 budget. And there's a budget. And if I wanted to prioritize everything against the budget, I could just click on that, this and here and so forth. Maybe you've seen this before. Some of you, it's called the Table Sorter Power BI Custom Visual. It's been around for 12 years. It's even on GitHub. And I took that and we sort of revived it into a Power Apps context instead. Here, of course, what customers tend to do for us is to prioritize against all these different criteria, selecting them manually, seeing the result. You can typically see you can afford them maybe, but you don't have the resources. So you can then go in and say, let's try and move this one or that one, and all is good. But if you have 10,000 projects and you want to do scenarios, you don't want to sit and drag and drop every single one, right? You want to have some help to do that. So up here, I have something called assisted scenarios, where I can go in and say there are some startup prompts, but let's say this one, maximize strategic value with, let's change it, could be anything, let's say 80 million in budget, prioritize projects with the payback time within 20 months, and the must-runs we have to do. Plus, let's say for this scenario, it's 80% focus on ROI, so sort of the ingredients. And then you just run the analysis, and we wait a little bit. You can actually see behind the scenes, it's selected some projects. You can also see money that's left, how many are funded, so on and so forth. So you'll have to run these. These are must-runs, and these down here are then your selection of choice based on the strategy and the money. Now, this is nice, and quite often what customers are asking us to help them with, this assistance. The thing is, they all think it's an AI thing. And it's not, of course. This is not what I just did. It's just basic math put into a vibe-coded page that allows it to do it real time, of course, but it's not AI. And there's a tendency sometimes that everyone asks for AI, even if basic math can actually solve the problem. So that's one aspect that I wanted to show. The other one is, of course, when to use AI. So if you go back here and you say, okay, let's save this as a scenario. That's the Bella scenario or whatever. Now we have a bunch of scenarios. And I want actually to hand this over to Copilot to get some sort of an assessment of what I'm about to do here. The thing is, I'm not saving these scenarios necessarily in Dataverse right now. I'm just simulating stuff. So no write back. So how do I hand it over to AI in a useful way? And that's where I have this copy to AI button, where I can say, take the current view or the scenario we just did, or 3 of them, I don't know, like this, copy it. So it's basically copying it to Markdown in real time. So when I open up Copilot on the right-hand side, I can just paste and hit the submit button. Didn't select which model so you go for. Typically it goes for the heavy one because it's a lot of data. So it'll probably start down here to do some small Python in a few seconds. It's not going to take long. And when it's done doing that, you'll see a complete assessment on these different scenarios, doing comparisons, like you'll see down here in just a second. So this approach means, of course, that I can work with data that isn't even saved yet. It's just cached. It also means that I can basically, even if people should all use Copilot, let's say they didn't, they could actually paste it into whatever chatbot and get a result as well. Now, if this takes forever, and it does if you take 10 scenarios and 1,000 projects, it's going to take 20 minutes maybe. That's where I would typically go to co-work instead. Do the same thing or automate it, but down here you have, I did this yesterday, so we didn't have to wait 20 minutes for this to load. But it's the same thing. I did the pasting up here. It does the same sort of reply, but here I can also say, please create the export as a PowerPoint. And like you showed before, you'll see the same thing. The data pops up in a PowerPoint, and it creates the charts on the fly, and so on and so forth. So that's the real AI part. The other one was math, and then we have a bunch of vibe coding on top of Dataverse to make this all come together.
This is super cool, Chris. Thank you very much for showing us a lot.